Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this month's Learn More with No More Under. As you know, I'm the founder, Chezik, and I'm here with Katoya Palmer. And Katoya, I'm going to let you introduce yourself because you have so many, I feel like, titles and are just an amazing person in our community.
Thank you so much. Well, Katoya Palmer, I am currently a community advocate first, a mother even before that, to go without rank. And in addition, I run the board of directors for the Splash Forward after having what was a career in aquatics as a lifeguard trainer and a swim instructor and drowning prevention subject matter expert. And today I serve at a different organization that I was previously at as the chief operating officer of a nonprofit.
Katoya and I first met because of, I think, Splash Forward, really. And then you were able to help me out with being a voice in Drowning in Silence. And I just always appreciate everything you bring as far as your knowledge, and just having that career in aquatics has been inspiring to me coming into it, all that you've done. So I appreciate you being here. And we're actually here to celebrate National Minority Mental Health Month. And what's really interesting about this, as you know, a swimming nonprofit, is a lot of us as minorities and Black and brown folks, we don't know how to swim, and there's a big fear around the water. And so I really just wanted to celebrate this month in particular because there is so much positive that the water brings and so many healing aspects. And so I just wanted to chat with you as someone who's been in aquatics forever and understands some of the benefits of that. So with your history in water and aquatics, I would just love to know, what are some of the benefits that you've seen that water can have on mental health?
The benefits that water can have on mental health are immense. Personally, I would speak from that lens first. I find the water very calming. It is a place that I go naturally to sit next to the water and watch it and listen, and I can really just feel it in my body, calming me as I am there. And from the perspective of being a aquatics professional, I think even as a lifeguard, I could just sit and watch the water all day long. And that was something that I always had to work on, was keeping my skin up so that I wouldn't get caught up in the peacefulness of the waves. And so personally, the water is just a natural place that is relaxing for me and provides me the opportunity to decompress and think about all of the things that are positive and peaceful in my life. A side of water that is really interesting to watch is that is a benefit is helping build courage. I've watched the water build courage in my own child, and going from a kid who saw his mom as a lifeguard and perform CPR and all of these kind of edgy things in the water and being afraid of water when I first started working at swimming pools, to after a while being able to jump in and do all kinds of crazy things and even get barked at by the lifeguards sometimes for being a little overly ambitious. And so I've seen the water benefit children and helping them build courage and confidence as well. And then in my active older adult community, there is nothing like morning water exercise classes where you can hang out with our active older adults and hear stories and watch them fellowship and build community around the water, while also being able to do something that's a little harder on their joints, which is be active. And so I relate to that as a woman of a certain age and an athlete. The water is also a good place for me to get a workout in where I can go all out. Whereas then on land, I can't go all out as I used to with 2 ACL reconstructions.
Wow. Yeah, that's real. Like, I didn't even consider, exercise obviously is endorphin, and the beauty, I think, of just, I don't know, being in the water is that it doesn't matter. It's literally a lifelong skill, that you can get in at any age. And I didn't think about it, but yeah, for me as well, sitting on a beach and just watching, it does take you somewhere. I've also read a study, and I wish that I knew exactly where it was, and I should know it considering that we're talking about it, but that actually swimming can help promote the growth of new brain cells. And then I also heard that it increases your blood flow to your brain. So it's those are just aspects that I wouldn't even consider are in play when you're in the water.
Absolutely. You're learning something new and you're pushing yourself to the limit. Well, many of us in the minority community, we're learning something new. As we know, statistically, we are not the most likely to involve ourselves in water or aquatics lifestyle. So the first thing you can do is boost your brain in the water if you are a person that hasn't been around it as much.
And I would say, I don't know, I don't want to say I hate to like group us all in, but like a
course.
lot of Black and brown folks are fearful
Mhm.
of water.
Very
And
much so.
I'm just trying to still, I mean, it's just in the work that we do, right? Is how do we encourage and bring people to understand the benefits, and that yes, obviously there is risk, but if you step in a safe way, the benefits really do outweigh the risks.
Absolutely. I think about even going back to the talking about my own son and doing something like, we lived on a busy street in Seattle. We lived on Martin Luther King Way in the central district of Seattle. And it was a very busy intersection. As we lived there for 15 years, it got busier and busier and busier as the city grew. My son was able to learn how to cross the street and benefit from being able to be independent enough to go and get on the bus or go and walk to a neighbor's house across the street. And so I parallel that to the water. As long as we're able to go through the process of learning and understanding the safety of how to live in and around water, then it can eliminate those barriers, but it can't be done without practice, and it cannot be done without advocacy, and it cannot be done without transparency about the risk.
And I do just think about, even the socializing that happens around water. And it is such a joyful place to gather and enjoy people. And again, that's even something that boosts your mental health as well. Like, and or if you need alone time, you go do laps. I've been talking about doing laps, but I will say the whole hair thing is a thing for me, but I feel like swimming is not, or the chlorine is not super great for your hair. And I keep saying I'm going to get a soul cap because I'm going to, but it is like, it's a barrier for me that like jumping in the water and every time. But the beauty is, again, stepping back, is that it's something you can do alone if you just need that time.
You do. The water and the hair thing, that really caught up to me after the pandemic when I returned to the pool deck to work, and I had started wearing wigs again. And so I had to go through the process of, before being a natural babe and actually wanting to wear some protective styles more often post-pandemic, and having to go through the process of taking my wig off in the locker room to go to work. And so, there is a lot, I say that to say there's a lot of shedding of layers as a Black woman when it comes down to being in the water. I go back to high school where I had to wear the Halle Berry before it was cool, or my perm, my relaxer that my mom put in my hair. I had to stop doing it because it was damaging. And things like the hair bleaching and things like that we weren't prepared for back then. So, shedding those layers, I think if I could say there is one thing swimming has done to improve my mental health and self-awareness and self-confidence, is allow me to be happy with looking at myself in the mirror as in my natural essence. And also being a plus size woman, walking around in the bathing suit for a living had its own pieces of that, journey as well. So the hair thing, yes, definitely was the diva with, my wigs and weaves in the pool at the end of my career, but leaned towards my natural hair during the time that I worked there, which also came with the extensive conditioning and care process. So the shedding of the layers is necessary, but also you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and be confident if you want to be a swimmer, which is a harsh thing to say, but I think it's really important to know.
I was literally in therapy today talking about my, situation, because my kids were wanting to go to the pool this weekend and I was just not feeling super confident getting in a bathing suit,
Absolutely.
we do live in this Western culture, white world, where my thighs don't look like, the people that I'm at the pool with at this moment in time. And so it's really, we did just have this whole deep conversation about, just accepting who we are and our bodies and all of that. And it's challenging, I mean, there's books about it, right? There's struggles on it, but it is a beautiful thing. And ultimately that is, again, another step in mental health that you don't consider swimming is bringing to you, but it really, in a way is. I appreciate you mentioning that.
Thank you. It is truly, I think, and also taking some time to understand my roots as a Black and a Black, and not that I am Indigenous, but indigeneity as a part of my upbringing as a descendant of African enslaved people, and understanding the ritual that came along with swimming for me as well, and finding value in that as a person that relates to being tribunal in my practices and in my routines every day. So there is a lot to unpack when we talk about swimming and a cultural level for us. Unfortunately, I say fortunately because I've learned so much that I can apply to other spaces. And I also attribute swimming into being one of the reasons why I could be a successful woman today and a successful Black woman at that.
Before we wrap this up, there was something about the color blue. I feel like, before we started recording, kind of talking about that, but there is something about the color blue, right?
There is something about the color blue. I think symbolically, when I go back to high school and I took my first honors American literature class, and we talked about the colors and what they can mean in books, and how blue for baptism and renewal and blue for peace. Those were some things that were implanted earlier on, or I was socialized to earlier on in my life, and paired with swimming. I think the funny thing, part of the story is, as sometimes in our icebreakers, there's a question that's asked about what color do you feel like today? And I usually choose the color blue because, again, an analogy I like to be iron. I like the irony behind, I like jokes, but the blue color is peaceful. The water is peaceful, but if you don't know how to be in the water, be around the water can be pretty mean too. And the water can be pretty tough on you too. So I usually pick the color blue because sometimes I'm sweet, but sometimes I'm sour, like a Sour Patch.
That is hilarious. I might have to use that one.
That's a good one.
It really is. It really is. But it is like, again, when you think about it, how much we do look at the water, and how much even children, I think of how children are attracted to water. And some of that is because it is so beautiful.
It's beautiful. Endless. You think, I was just in Chicago and looking out into the lake and just seeing how endless it was and how beautiful the sailboats are, and the fog came over the water. It was consuming. I felt the spirit of the earth. And again, and we're just relating to being, I would say, my ancestors, and understand that we come from the earth. It just feels grounding to me.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Katoya, thank you so much for I don't know. I always appreciate when we chat and connect like this, but this one, for whatever reason, just feels important because, again, I just want to encourage as many of us to get swim lessons, get back in the water. If it's been a minute, obviously get kids, in lessons. Again, I know it's a challenge, but it's summertime, and it's such a soothing, cooling space to be in, and just understanding that it even has mental health benefits.
Correct.
It's an important sport that we do need to be more a part of.
Absolutely. Well, I'll be getting in the pool again for the first time in almost a year with Splash Forward next week. And we're doing week after next, we're doing a water safety camp. And I am super excited. I found a new bathing suit and everything I have not decided which wig I'm going to be taking off in the locker room yet, but I do know with a bathing suit, I'm going to be putting on little shorts over to hang out with the kids at that time. So I agree. The water is an amazing place. It is peaceful and it is calming, and it is made for us. I truly believe it is made for us as Black people, as minority identified individuals.
I love that. Good luck with camp next week. I'm excited. We're giving you all some Water Watcher badges. So I'm excited to be a little bit involved in that, but just really excited for all the opportunities that you all are offering. And again, just thank you for being such, a dynamic and active person in our community, advocating for so much. So that's sincere for sure.
Likewise. And thank you for all that you do to continue to share messages and stories. And I look forward to more stories and messages from you after having been a part of your amazing documentary.
I love it. All right, Katoya, thank you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning into our Learn More series. You can always check us out at www.nomoreunder.org, and definitely peruse our YouTube channel and join us on Instagram at nomoreunder. So thank you again. Take care.